Hi, my name is Ray, and today I would like to welcome you to A Moment with the Author, a series where we interview local authors and let them tell us about their books and their stories. Today we're happy to be joined with Cinthia Pratt, who's written for us Fearfully Female and Wonderfully Woman. And we're really excited about this book, Cindy. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you would like people to know about you.
Well, thanks for having me. First of all, a lot of people are going to know me because I've lived in the Boone area for 20 years now. And I taught at ASU in the sociology department for a little over 14 years, and before that I was at Caldwell Community College. My background before that time was my husband is a retired military officer, Navy EOD, that's Explosive Ordnance Disposal.
Oh, wow.
Now he owns a paint store, so the joke is that he went from demanning bombs and jumping out of airplanes to helping people pick out colors. My background as a sociologist was in the area of marriage and family relationships, as well as in gender studies. And that's kind of what led me to be interested in knowing God's perspective, or a biblical perspective, on what it means to be a woman or female today. So that's a little bit of background in the book. I've always been a speaker, a lay counselor, a woman.
Well, that definitely helps to qualify
Yes, it
you.
does. And the mother of 3 daughters. So I think all of that kind of contributed to the content of this book.
Wow. Tell us a little bit about, you've told us about what prompted the writing of this book, your own studies. We're really curious, what prompted the cover? Tell us a little bit about this cover. This is a very interesting, we're going to put an image of this on the video so you can see it. It's a very interesting cover. Tell us about that.
Isn't she fantastic?
She really is.
When I started putting together this book, first of all, I was on a sharp learning curve. I had no idea what it went into, picking out every little tittle and dot and the cover design. And I wanted a cover that would embrace all women. So I didn't want a particular race, I didn't want a particular social class, but also because of my background and my humor, or lack thereof, I wanted something that would compel people to pick up the book and maybe even be welcomed by the humor of the book. This actually is a caricature of Queen Isabella of Spain. And it's meant to be unkind. It's when she was fleeing the country. And people did not care for her because she was assertive, she was a woman who knew what she wanted, and she led with authority. And that kind of led into what I was trying to say about women as ambassadors of God on a journey. I mean, when you look at this cover, she's got her crown, she's got her royal robes, she looks like a woman on a mission, and she's got places to go, people to see, and things to do. So it ended up being one that I kept going back to, and finally tweaked it a little bit and decided it was what I wanted.
Well, I really like it. It really grabs your attention and makes you want to pick up the book.
Thank you. I love it.
In the book, you categorize each chapter in relation to travel and in relation to a piece of luggage. Tell us a little bit about why you did that and what led you to that, to setting it up that way.
Total serendipity. Did not think I was going to do that. And again, this has just been such a wonderful thing to do. The illustrations that are in there from a female perspective. Who knew God would use a tube of lipstick to talk about women, or shoes to talk about women? And those are all things that I love.
Well, if you know women, tubes of lipsticks and shoes are definitely
so
definitely
God
good.
knows women, and that's
right.
the message. But the truth of the matter is we're all on a journey, aren't we?
That's right.
And that journey is called our life. And so I began to think about things like being weighed down by excess baggage, and choosing our itinerary and planning out our trip. And the truth is, we put more time into going to Myrtle Beach and planning that trip than we do take in planning the most important trip of all, and that's the trip of our life. So I started by saying, we're all on a trip, let's drag out our luggage, and we do each chapter by unpacking the rubbish, the waste, the refuge, the excess, and then repacking who we really are, our identity as fearfully wonderful women, and then packing those things that God has supplied to us to guarantee a successful trip.
Wow, wow. Very neat. Very neat analogy. I really like that.
Thank you.
I think that will really relate to a lot of women too. And men, because we end up carrying those suitcases and such.
My favorite was the shoe bag. I'm a shoe freak. And so when I got to chapter 7 and the shoe bag, learning that God has given us, for example, killer boots. Who knew? And then God has given us ballet slippers to dance at the marriage feast of the Lamb, and on and on and on and on. It was just really exciting to write.
That's really neat, really neat. In the book, you cover, you intersperse throughout each chapter these little vignettes called roadside reflections. And I know Jareen, who is the one who reviews a lot of our books for local authors, she was really excited about those and found those really neat and intriguing. Tell us a little bit about those and kind of what your intent was in putting that in the text of the book.
I decided to put them in the text or dispersed as we're reading instead of at the end because, Ray, when you go on a trip and you see something on the side of the road, you see it then. And you think about it then, and you reflect on it then. You don't wait till the finish of the trip and then go back and look at it.
Wow.
So I thought, because we're on this trip, if we would look at the vignettes as they come along and pause and think about them then it would enhance our future trip or when we get back in the car and travel on. So it's a pit stop, it's a road stop, it's something on the side of the road we're paying attention to right now that may help us as we continue on.
I really like that as opposed to doing questions at the end of the chapter. I've seen a lot of authors do that, but there's something about when you have these little insets throughout the chapter that really helps you to retain what you're reading. So kudos. I think that was a great idea. That must have been serendipitous as well.
It was. I will tell you, I do have a 36-page study guide for people who do like to, think at the end of the chapter after they've finished reading. But for me, I guess I'm like a cow who chews cud. I chew it, walk a little bit, chew it a little bit more. I can't chew and walk at the same time. So it's good to have the roadside reflection at the point when I'm thinking about it.
Very nifty. I like that.
Thank you.
Well, is there anything else that you would like our viewers to know about either your book or about you or maybe your ministry?
I am a speaker and a teacher. I left ASU to go into full-time ministry to women. My heart is women. My desire is to equip women and to empower women. One of the things I like to say is that for all of our talk in our society about women having come a long way, I see too many of my sisters stranded on the side of the road with 2 flat tires and a busted bicycle chain and no direction.
Wow.
So continuing with this whole idea of being on a journey, that's what I would like to do. Help my sisters get a sense of direction, know who they are, and continue on to being the fearfully wonderful woman of God that they were created to be. It's time to stop being off the rack. We are designer creations. So I'm hoping this book is just a vehicle. I would love to come and speak, work with pastors, work with community leaders to encourage women to be all that they can be.
Wow. Why don't you give our viewers your website and maybe how they can get in touch with you in case they do want to book you for an event?
Wonderful, wonderful. The website is super too, and I encourage everyone who buys the book to visit the website. There are forums there. Women all over the world are going to it. Easy to remember if you just remember the second line of the book. The second line of the book is Becoming All That God Created. My website is becomingallgodcreated.org.
Oh.
Becomingallgodcreated.org.
Easy.
Easy to find.
Easy peasy. Well, we are so appreciative of you being here. We're so appreciative of your book. Make sure to check it out, Fearfully Female and Wonderfully Woman. We'll have it on the website at cornerstoneboone.com, or make sure to stop in the store and we'll be glad to show you Fearfully Female and Wonderfully Woman. Thanks again.